This week on the show, I still love Todd Howard.
I'm doing my part in Starship Troopers.
And it's another big win for Gooners.
Hello and welcome to Back Pocket, where we get into the pants of all the gaming news and reviews. I'm joined, as always, by Gus Ronald.
Always
And forever. And Ruby Innes.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
Ruby's
Let's be real.
Ruby's are sometimes food.
Because, all the time I'm here, but sometimes I'm here. You know what I mean?
No, sometimes you're here, but you're not here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You're here, but you're not present.
Yeah, I'm going
That's
to
it.
bedtime town. We'll get to that later.
What?
Yeah, because of
I'm
the video game that
referencing.
you're playing. The video game you're playing.
Referencing.
Nice.
It's been a wild week of news, which we'll get to. There's been some fun stories. There's been some fun on the internet.
Yeah.
There's been
boy.
a lot of punching up,
Yeah.
which is always fun to see.
I like to say a lot of gnashing of teeth.
Well,
Just like, general outrage and outroar, but yes, in a way that feels like, ooh, everyone's enjoying it. Bit of classic mob mentality.
Yeah.
Grab your torch and pitchforks.
It's been an awesome time for pointing at big companies and going, oh, brother, this guy stinks, which is awesome.
that is awesome. That was given like a TMNT character.
Yeah, I tried.
You didn't know any voice work?
Oh, God, I want to so badly.
Yeah.
I want to so badly.
My dream is to
If
do
you listen.
voice work and then get given the version of the thing I played as like a little statuette that I can keep. If I was in a Pixar film, I would like my little Pixar version of myself.
Yeah.
If I was in Inside Out 3, Inside Out?
What emotion would you be?
They've already done anxiety, haven't they? Insecurity? Same as anxiety. Suppression. Is that an emotion?
Repression.
Repression.
Yeah,
I would be repression.
Yeah.
And then
Nice.
my little character would be a little jar that's just walking around just bottling everything up.
I like that.
There you
That's
go.
accurate.
That
yeah.
one's for
What
free
would you
Pixar.
be?
I don't know. I'm asking the questions here.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm in the middle seat.
Pete's middle chair.
What would you be?
I don't know.
As an emotion?
As an emotion, I think.
We all know we're doing this so someone in the community draws us like
Yeah.
this or makes me a 3D printed version of me as a little jar. If you were an emotion in Inside Out 3, you would be...
Like, I don't want to say happy because joy. I don't want to say joy because that
Sorry,
exists.
that's the
main
but
character.
You would-
positivity,
No.
optimism.
What about cigarettes?
That's not an emotion. That's
It is to some.
that's an activity.
It is
and
to
a fun
some.
one at that.
I think you would just be the cool
How are
person.
you feeling today? Cigarette.
Cigarettes, you'd just be smoking in the corner.
I'm feeling very cigarette and chocolate
Amy,
today.
See, you've already found the character.
That's it.
You've
Amy
got, like,
Poehler
the-
is joy. Ruby Innes is
No,
cigarette.
because ennui already exists as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't see Inside Out 2.
Oh,
really?
What's left over?
Ennui is in number 2,
Yep.
and I'm pretty sure
like that.
anxiety was introduced in
Yeah.
number 2 as well.
Yeah.
And embarrassment.
Is that film series now going to grow with the next generation, constantly adding new cast members based on, I'm not going to say new emotions, but more mature emotions? So eventually, will we get Lust in the next one or something more adult?
Can I be Lust?
Peter can be Lust.
Can I be Lust?
Okay, we'd like the community to draw Peter as Lust, me as a jar, and you as a cigarette.
cigarette and chocolate?
Chocolate.
I will watch that film. I like that.
That
Yeah.
film exists and it's called Chocolat.
Cool.
But yes, let's put all of our emotions into these wonderful news stories that happened this week. Because it's
good.
time for a little bit of backup. For a lot of bit of backup. And a lot of bit of backup is brought to us by Reese Wild. Thank you, Reese, for sponsoring the show. We really appreciate it. Now, Gus, take that mouse
Take charge.
and tell us about the big story of
Well,
the
the
week.
gnashing of teeth that I mentioned at the top of the show. Yes, the biggest news that has been doing the rounds this week surrounds NVIDIA's new tech. They've dropped their latest upscaling technology. It is DLSS 5. DLSS stands for Digital Learning Supersampling. And basically, it uses 3D guided neural rendering, which is a fancy way of saying AI, to overwrite the graphic look of a game with the goal of, in quotes, enhancing the traditionally rendered graphics. This was announced at NVIDIA GTC, which is a global AI conference by NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang, and they maintain that the technology is controlled perfectly by the information that's provided in the 3D render of the game itself. And so what you're seeing, or what a lot of people have been seeing, is the before and after clips clips that were released by NVIDIA that have been doing the rounds, and they've been getting a lot of that backlash from the wider gaming public who see this as a kind of removal of the artistry from the game developers and basically like a homogenizing of the visual style that leads to this overall AI slop aesthetic, or a look that we've all seen. Now, there's a bit more information to go into, but I do want to get your guys' initial hot takes on what you think here, because I have mine, and the community have theirs, but overall, it does feel like gamers have come out saying, yuck.
It's uncomfortable because, like, they're porn faces. And I don't want to feel like the characters in the video game are trying to have sex with me all the time.
So that's exactly it. You can very clearly see, because they've come out and said it's generative AI.
Yes.
And you can very clearly see what data they're pulling from, because the proof is in the pudding of seeing the Resi footage. The DLSS 5 Leon Kennedy looks like realistic Leon Kennedy. Grace Ashcroft looks like somebody else. They've given her a lip flip.
Yeah.
They've given her a nose job.
Yeah.
And they've, like, it's very clearly pulling from, ideal female
versions
faces.
of and similarly with Leon as well. It's like even more chiseled on it, but you're totally
He
right
just looks
about
like Pete
Grace.
North now.
Yeah.
Jesus. But Grace in particular, you're right. It's not just the fact that it's upscaled. What they're trying to say here is that it's using AI, it's using generative imagery to increase the fidelity, to basically create better lighting, all this sort of stuff. But you're totally right. In those cases, particularly with faces, it has created an uncanny valley beautification, really kind of like, you're totally right. It's like a whitewashed kind of just generic plastic face, and it has beautified her, which is not part of the artistry of the original model design.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
I just think, like, it's you go, and then I will finish.
I was just going to say that people are kind of reacting to it, and the way that it is presented in the NVIDIA trailer is as though it's a filter, which is how we're used to seeing AI, generative AI used to manipulate images, is a kind of a layer over the top. There was commentary about it being actually at a different level of where it is applied, but that is kind of irrelevant to the end user, which is seeing the results of this. And it's, the references that they're using, the way that they light it, it takes it out of the immediate space, the volumetric lighting, the natural lighting of the space. There is no natural lighting in a video game, obviously, but the lighting that has been that is motivated and is adding some kind of effect that it's taking from this idealized version of a portrait of someone, which is a 3-point lighting setup, and like it's capturing light that doesn't exist, isn't motivated by the space, to make it look quote unquote better, when it in actuality is making it look other and removed.
To be
again.
reductive, it's basically giving it a glossy look, which is that you are getting a magazine style perfect face every time, as the AI is trained to show it in its best light. And so these examples in particular don't show characters looking like their original models. They do feel like they're on a photo shoot or something, which is them picking those clips for those reasons, I'm
Absolutely.
sure.
It looks like those engagement-based slop posts that you see on Twitter that are like, this game would have done better if the female main character looked like this and had the big bazungas.
Well,
and
yeah,
no, it wouldn't have. And great, now we're just getting it on a corporate official scale. And and what gets me as well is they've come out later and been like, developers will be able to choose if they want this in their game.
Yep.
But who in that development studio is going to be making that choice? Is it the artists that put those models together, that had the exact idea of how they wanted these models to look in their mind? Do they get to choose that? Or do the heads
It'll
of
be
studio?
higher ups that it narrows down to the people who generally want to polish it more. We should point out as well that DLSS has existed in NVIDIA tech in the past, using AI, but it's been a way to basically increase frame rates, sharpen lower res images, that kind of thing. So it's been mainly just a sort of a fidelity. It's tweaking the sharpening and making so older GPUs could run games at a better performance. This is I think they've just tried to dress it up as a next step in the evolution, but it is totally a...
They've Trojan horsed it in
to
a tool that people have come around to really appreciating the value of as technology and as building a PC gets more expensive because of AI and RAM becoming more expensive.
Well, and then we saw just before on the stage there was a Q&A follow-up with Jensen where basically someone from the audience asked, about the reaction, about the backlash that has happened in the short term since it's been announced. They came forward saying that everyone is completely wrong. And justifying the technology that they are there to sell. So I'm not going to completely rip on them for that. But basically, they went on to try and explain that the technology is not, I'm going to try and get this right, not post-processing at a frame level, it's generative control at a geometry level. I think basically what they're trying to reinforce there is that the control will remain with the game's creators. Now, that's them. That's their speak. I think what they're trying to say here is that this is something that might be tweakable within the game engine and, as you said, allowed to be in some games, not all. I want to play devil's advocate for a moment and say the faces are the thing that has thrown everyone off. And the uncanny valley, all the points we made before I agree with. I definitely can see when they do some environmental texturing and some global lighting effects, like a mild improvement there that feels less directed because it is just like environmental, so it's inconsequential to the focus of the art. And I'm not saying it's right, I'm saying there was the versions, I think, of seeing like, a scattering of an environment, leaves and trees and all that. Like, it does look, for me, subjectively, a little bit better.
Subjective is important here because I disagree. I don't think it looks better. I just think it looks different. And, like, that's... Then you have to ask, well, why?
Yeah.
Because it should be one thing.
Well, so hang on, just on that point, I do think, they're trying to sell this as something that maybe developers who don't have the resources to create a game that can look as polished as that, those higher AAA games, that's a tool they could be using. I think then we just blow it wide open into a world.
But they've only shown those higher AAA games.
100%.
Thing,
and I don't believe in that myself. I just think it's an interesting point that the people are dancing around. It's like you can take a game with less resolution and less polish with a smaller team, and you could use this to upscale it and improve on it. But that's just the argument everyone's making with AI. It's like, it can help your work, it can increase your work output with reduced numbers and redued costs. Yeah. Where at the end of the day, you're shortchanging yourself.
Look, any developer and studio, if they want to use this shit, they can. I retain my right to point and laugh at them and not play their game.
I think that's the important thing. Is
vote with your wallet.
Yeah. Well, no. Vote by pointing and laughing.
Laugh at it.
Because NVIDIA don't give a shit if gamers like this. Yeah. They only care that the massive investment that they're getting into AI is still happening.
Yeah.
The idea, the completely wrong wasn't a message to gamers.
Yeah.
It was a message to the board saying, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We still got billions of dollars being invested in NVIDIA to do AI research, and now we have tools in millions of computers around the world that are pulling market research for us.
So only vote with your wallet if you're an investor into AI technology for NVIDIA, and stop investing
in
that.
And for everything else,
don't let this bubble burst, please.
Make fun of these fuckwits. Make fun of these uncreative tools. They're fucking useless.
Yeah.
I hate them.
I totally agree. You are right to... look, I was putting it forward as a point of discourse there to be like a discussion, but you're right. There's no point in even trying to give them an inch here because it is something that they will run with. We're already seeing it snowball in a way that's just moving in on every form of tech and creativity, more importantly, and this is just, I think, a step too far, and it's been wonderful to see that the gaming public at large have really put their foot down and, en masse, who are usually the ones who are like, I want better graphics, I want better performance, I want better games, going, whoa. Sorry, this is fucked. This is genuinely like a problem.
I think another thing is like, how will it affect performance? Realistically,
I'm curious to see. I'm curious. I shouldn't say that because I don't even want them to proceed with it. But I'm curious to see it moving in a game because everything we've seen has been looking like an Instagram filter over static imagery with limited movement. Like, how does this perform while sprinting around an action game or something like that? Does it look motion smeary and blurry as all hell?
Methinks it will look poo-poo.
I agree with you, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. This is a tech that they've said will be released in the fall in the US, so later in the year, and it has been announced that it'll be supported with games like AC Shadows, Starfield that everyone's seen in the clips, and also Resident Evil Requiem, now with extra lip filler, apparently.
Yeah,
so,
a big win for Gooners.
There it is. But hopefully something happens and they go, you know what, let's kill this thing before it even... Because I reckon you're right.
Yeah.
Once it gets
this
released,
horse's leg is broken.
Let's put this thing down.
Let's make it glue.
That's the social clip. It's DLSS 5, a big win for Gooners.
Yes! A win! Finally!
That's it.
No, so Ruby, tell us about...
another win?
an actual win for developers.
Yeah, another win comes in a judge in the legal battle between publisher Krafton and the co-founders of Subnautica developer Unknown Worlds has ordered the publisher to reinstate the former CEO Ted Gill and give him control over Subnautica 2's early access release plans. So this move came 9 months after the delay of Subnautica 2's early access release by Krafton, the firing of Unknown Worlds co-founders Charlie Cleveland, Max McGuire, and CEO Ted Gill, and the claims by the three that Krafton delayed the release against their will in order to avoid delivering a previously agreed upon $250 million payout to the development team upon release. So for context, Krafton acquired Unknown Worlds in late 2021 and notably made the statement that the developer would continue to operate independently. That was a big claim when they made this acquisition. However, months before the expected release of Subnautica 2 into early release in 2025, Krafton announced that Cleveland, McGuire, and Gill had been let go and replaced by Steve Papoutsis from Krafton's subsidiary Striking Distance Studios, best known for Callisto Protocol. Yeah. So the judge in this case wrote that Krafton breached the EPA by terminating the key employees without valid cause and by improperly seizing operational control of Unknown Worlds.
Okay.
Very legal speak.
Yeah.
But basically the judge's findings were that, the thing that they kind of said that they were going to do in terms of keeping it independent, they didn't do that.
I want Judge Ruby on these cases. The thing you said you do, you didn't do.
You did
not do that.
But a very interesting thing in the judge's findings as well was that after revenue predictions for the game kind of proved to be less than the payout that they'd agreed to deliver, Krafton CEO Chang-Han Kim feared that making an earn-out payment at a loss would earn him a reputation as a pushover. And that's when he proceeded with Project X, a month-long plan to justify the firing of the co-founders and the CEO, which included consulting ChatGPT multiple times for help with messaging the change in leadership to fans, and the effort culminated in what the court has now ruled to be breach of contract.
So did the Chat GPT come up with Project X?
Surely.
Let's, this
and what should we call this?
What should we call our evil plan?
Brilliant
Project
question. You're a
X.
genius. We should call this Project X.
And we're going to have the biggest party in the world after. They'll make a movie out of it.
It's wild. Yeah.
You've got millions of dollars worth of lawyers working for you, and you consult AI instead of talking to the actual intelligence that is under your employ.
Amazing.
Insane. Because, clearly it was him on his own,
These people, man.
ChatGPT. What should I say to make people not hate me?
Well, it's funny, isn't it, though? Because this story's been slowly on the burn for a few months now. And mainly it did spark off based on the idea that everyone could see the writing on the wall, that they were trying to avoid that payout at all costs. Yeah. And obviously the predicted revenue plays into that. It's as any company would just go, I'd like to avoid spending money if I can do it. Here it was them trying to justify it with those predicted costs. And as I said, it was just as obvious as the nose on your face that this is what they were doing. To have it named as Project X, to be actively removing the structure from the top down as a way to do this, I'm so glad that, like we said, this is a bit of a win currently in whatever phase it's at now, that this is leading to the right people keeping their jobs and the wrong people getting moved out.
So the order to put Ted Gill back, reinstate him as CEO.
So his name is Ted Gill. He's Gills.
He's Gills.
It's an underwater game. Sorry. Yeah.
But that order, as well as giving him control over the early access release, is phase 1.
Okay.
And
Of Project X.
Of Project X.
Phase 2 of the world.
Because I would argue that this is the big decision-making phase of how the game goes moving forward in its development. Because phase 2 is pretty much just deciding what monetary damages have resulted from this.
Yeah.
And basically, if that payout will still happen in the amount.
Is that off the table?
Well, that's the thing. It afterwards as well, the payout got changed, or the offer got changed to it was something along the lines of 25 million, which is significantly less.
Yeah, and to be clear, this was like a milestone bonus incentive. So if sales were really strong, they set a figure of a financial payout. If they reached that figure, it was looking like the predicted numbers were going to reach that, and that's what instigated Project X.
Was it tied to sales, or was it tied to progress in the development?
I think it was the release of early access, I'm fairly certain.
Yeah,
it was how far they were.
Yeah, and I think it was trying to pick up some pace on the fact that I think Subnautica 1, from memory, was one of those great sort of games that was a long drawn out early access. And so
same with Below Zero.
Yeah, so here they were like, we just want to crush that early access period and get this, to full release. So that was the incentive there.
Yeah.
But the predicted sales, that for full transparency, them going, oh shit, even if we make this, we're not going to make our money back.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah. So the next step is work out what the damage is, if that payout's still on the table, and I look forward to phase 2 and phase 3.
Yeah. Oy, oy, oy.
A lot of phases to come, everyone.
Phase 3, profit.
And Project X is dead in the water. Sorry, ChatGPT, for coming up with that brilliant plan. Moving on. The Elder Scrolls 6 is nowhere near ready.
It's also dead.
No, it's not dead. In an interview with IGN, Bethesda Game Studios' Todd Howard has lamented the premature announcement of The Elder Scrolls 6. Bethesda featured a teaser trailer for the next installment of their Grand Fantasy series at E3 in 2018.
I was there.
But it has become clear that the earliest we should expect to see the game released is 2028, and that's all theoretical still.
Okay.
Howard said in the interview, I like to compress that moment where you hear about a game to when you can play it. Those would be on top of each other if I had my way every time. That isn't necessarily the best thing to do with every game. Sometimes you need to inform people, and there's business considerations, and et cetera, et cetera. But this is in response to, there's now going to be minimum 10 years between the announcement of Elder Scrolls 6 and its release, versus something like Fallout Shelter being shadow dropped at E3 a couple of years prior to that. One of the business considerations around this time, 2018, what happened not long after 2018 for Bethesda? Perhaps a $7.5 billion acquisition by Microsoft.
It's because of the pandemic.
And then the pandemic also happened.
Wow.
But obviously ZeniMax Media, Bethesda's parent company, was acquired by Microsoft, finalized in 2021, but made public in 2020 that the acquisition was on the table. I cannot imagine a world where a $7.5 billion investment isn't already being talked about in 2018.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't ZeniMax be encouraging Bethesda to be talking about their largest IP to show the value of the company ahead of an acquisition like that?
I remember being in the big sweaty warehouse in LA when they dropped this trailer. And yeah, even then it was the idea of like, wow, this is definitely will be coming in the next 10 years, kind of the energy in the space. And that was even the sort of the energy on stage as they announced it. They were like, this is just something we want to show to know that it is in the works. Not knowing that information at the time, that yes, this most likely was there as something that just reinforced that it is part of the business, it is part of their IP. It is one thing they have that they will be able to sell in the future. That is, I think, what has swayed this decision. But I do like to look at the idea of publishers, developers, just creators in general, realizing that creating giant runways to their game is now probably more of a detriment overall, based on just, I think, overall communication, the internet, how hype is built and lost and is a commodity now. I think it's just interesting. I don't think it's impossible to still have great long launches, and if you're excited about something that you are working on and you want to get it out there, that makes sense. I just feel like there's sort of been a bit of a shift in tone now about how risky you want to be with that.
Like maybe. I think like an IP like Elder Scrolls, everyone always knows that Bethesda's working on the next one when they're finished, that it is potentially in the pipeline, right? It's like Rockstar, the next GTA is in development once they release the one before it.
There will be these games until we die. Like, that's kind of it.
Well, I mean, speaking of GTA as well, I think there's like this demand for transparency, but also like a weird aversion to seeing how the sausage is made.
100%.
Like when those screenshots and stuff got leaked of GTA 6 when it was still in early development. And yes, it didn't look like the trailers because it was a game being built. People were like, damn, this looks like ass. It's going to be ass. And like, I think a lot of developers saw that and they're like, we can never show anything ever.
But the way you can now experience all that is, again, saying the internet is there, the communication is there. Back in the day, it was maybe a picture in a magazine of a game, of like Donkey Kong Country 64 was going to be fully rendered in 3D, and it turned into something completely different. I'm like, I still have that wonky old picture in a magazine. Now it is, you are totally right. You can see every step of the way. We're fully aware of every delay that happens, of every little, hurdle they might trip up on the way. So I just think that might lead into some of that decision making for other games as well out there. You're right in this sense. This is milestone gaming that will continue in generations of sequels to a property.
But Nintendo's working on a Mario game, and they don't talk about it until they've got something really polished to show.
That's true. That's true.
So it's like it's mostly business led, not the people making it. They're not going out there intentionally putting themselves in a space where they're being asked questions that they can't answer.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of respect for Todd Howard, despite the fact that he often is, uses a lot of hyperbole, and he gets on stage and he's a nerd that gets forced on stage and then says things.
But that's
I can empathize with the idea of putting an idiot in front of a microphone is going to lead to things being said that we regret.
I miss that.
Peggle 3 Shadow Drop.
That's it?
Announced on Back Pocket. Now.
Let's go.
But with less and less live events, it is all now the kind of stuff we see, which are these video conferences, or it's pumped out to the world via a private event. There's less and less of that E3 bravado, and I miss it because I do enjoy either someone, not just the slip-ups, but there are the versions of people saying things that they might overreach a little bit, or wanting to provide to a crowd / global
Don't you guys
audience.
have phones?
The industry was better when Peter Molyneux was making games.
Well, there were these.
yes.
What's the word under
have
rockstar?
Cube.
When there were these, what's under a rockstar level of kind of like, they have a personality. They
the
have
drummer
a persona.
in a rock band.
Yeah, they were the drummers of rock bands getting up on stage. They had personas.
Loser.
What if you played a game where you were friends with a little boy? It's like,
Yes.
What about
Peter Molyneux?
the Wii music one and all that? But they were so
I
excited
love-
to show this thing off, and they might trip and fall, or they might, soar. But it was always fun to see these people have the energy and have the excitement about it on stage. Todd Howard is a classic example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in this case, he was excited when he announced it when I was there.
Yeah,
He was
sure
sweating.
was.
I was sweating.
Well, I mean, obviously we're not going to see Elder Scrolls anytime soon, but I'm very excited because I love Elder Scrolls, and I love Todd. I just want to see his face all the time. He's a beautiful man.
I can put him in my pocket.
I want to put him in a little bucket. I want to keep him and give him a
Little
hug.
guy.
But speaking of kind of goodwill around game announcements and releases, just a little bit of a nice news story to end on here is that 2 games accidentally launched with the same name, so the developers teamed up. So a glitch in the Matrix saw the release of 2 video games of exactly the same name releasing on Steam days apart, even a day apart. Piece by Piece by Neon Polygons launched on March 13, and Piece by Piece by GameCat launched the day before.
Oh, no.
Now, in light of this, the developers have teamed up to create the Piece by Piece double bundle on Steam. And the listing reads, 2 games, 1 name. This bundle brings both interpretations of the name together, a cozy repair shopkeeping sim and a mind-bending puzzle platformer united by both the name and a shared love of puzzles.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah, what a nice sense of collaboration and goodwill that they're not at odds with each other. They're embracing
no
it.
legal battles.
Also,
or
just
anything
thank
like
God
that.
they're not even close in genre. Like, they are 2 polar
so
opposite games. So a bundle of 2 games that aren't similar is kind of a wonderful thing. It's like, here, have 1 game and a palate cleanser, or like, if you like this, but yeah. So
And they both look awesome in their own right.
Totally.
Sweet little independent
How crazy that
games.
that just didn't pop up in any way, shape, or form to both sides of the teams. I'm assuming as they created their game. And
I guess I would have thought Steam's backend would have some kind of checks to go like, hey, you're submitting to release on our platform, and there's another title releasing with the same name.
And that, just to double check, I was looking at that. They are spelt the exact same way. There's no like clever pun name or something. Where
Piece
one
by
is
piece.
one wasn't the pieces in peace symbol. Like no, they are literally spelt the same.
They are exactly
They
the
both look
same.
great. You're totally right,
Yeah.
and they look
Super
like
cute
very
and very
worth playing.
different.
And just
Yeah.
nice that this isn't seen as you said, Ruby, a legal drama or just any form of
Yeah.
animosity. This is like cool. Let's just
I hope that the same thing happens for me when I release my solo developed game, The Elder Scrolls 6.
GTA 6.
GTA 6,
Yeah.
the Ruby edition.
Release date when the other one comes out.
The same day.
Also, we should say, like, there is a game out that is now either called, like, Pokemon spelt differently or something that came out last week.
Pikmon.
There's
Power
all that.
World.
So this is nice that it's
Pac-Man.
not predatory. They're two friendly strangers that bumped in an alley in the dark. That's a weird analogy, but, like, now they're friends.
And then their pieces came together.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's talk about what we've been playing. What we've been playing is sponsored by Nicortex. Nicortex, you're a true hero. We love you so much.
I'll take you piece by piece.
Oh, we were past that. We've moved on.
What he
Angus.
means
Come
by
on.
that? What
How
that means?
about you tell us
move on.
about How about you tell us about the game you've been
I
playing?
will. I will tell you guys about a game that I played called Starship Troopers Ultimate Bugboard. That came out on
doing my
Tuesday, and I was very excited to play this game. I played the demo, and this has been released as a boomer shooter. This is from the same developers who did Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun. That was another wonderful throwback to the sort of fast-moving pace, overpowered, dumb enemy joys of a boomer shooter. Those are kind of my categories that I would put up there for what categorizes a boomer shooter. This is obviously set in the Starship Troopers universe, and it just embraces the absolute silly nature of that universe. Futuristic weapons, brainless enemies, all that kind of stuff. No rebounding health, I should say. Like, you have to go and get ammo and health, all that stuff. And this wonderful art style that includes 2D sprites in a 3D world, which is just an aesthetic I didn't know I missed until I saw it. We're talking Duke Nukem 3D and all that sort of stuff. So a great look and vibe for what is a, lower budget game, both in its cost but also in how it's selling itself, because this game is basically being sold as a game within the game. This is a recruitment tool for people in the Starship Troopers universe, much like the film and the book is all about the propaganda and the kind of slightly more deeper subject matter that's in the Starship Troopers universe. But I'll get into that in a sec. This is purely a single-player game as well. This puts you in the boots of Major Sammy Dietz, and so it's retelling her story from her memories in the Bug War, and basically it's an excuse to jump around a whole bunch of bug-blasting missions around the galaxy. And it has all that bravado and hoorah attitude that is highlighted in the 97 Paul Verhoeven film. And again, based off a book, which is all about sort of military propaganda and the idiocy of war and the globalization that I think a lot of people didn't realize was parodied in that film. I didn't as a kid. I just liked the action film. So there's a little bit of that happening here, but it is extensively a action game. And I think, as I said, this is perfect fodder for an action game. There was, just as a side note, the 2024 Starship Troopers Extermination was like a AA multiplayer shooter that I played with the community and really loved. And I thought that was a fantastic idea of like 48 players, base building, all that kind of stuff. That had a bit of a, pun intended, buggy launch, and Helldivers 2 came out shortly after and really, I think, didn't give that one much room to play. But here, it is just a sort of paring back to the simplicity of a run-and-gun shooter, and it feels really fun to play. This is a lot more self-aware. It's a lot more focused. It's, as you saw as you'll see when you boot the game up, it's full of FMV sequences that are played by both the character you are and Casper Van Dien. Who plays his character from the movies called whatever. Johnny Rico? Johnny Rico! Why is that in my brain? And those are hilarious and self-aware. They're probably a little long in the tooth. Like, the actors are really chewing the scenery, but they're a fun way to sort of frame up some of the missions. And then you go into these missions and they are mini sandboxes, which I was really impressed with, or sort of surprised by, I should say, because I expected this game to be like any boomer shooter, like a corridor shooter, like super linear in canyons. But you do land on planets with multiple objectives that you can do at your own pace and pick and choose. It's a little bit Halo level 2, like landing on the ring and being like, cool, where do I want to go? Those missions are often just revolving around go help some people and defend them. Go find this thing and then defend it. Go lock down a base and defend it. Because the idea of this game is swarm, is defending, is being overrun. That is the sort of vibe of a Starship Troopers game. So those missions are repetitive, but they are fun. Like, it's just undeniably, as you get more weaponry, as you get more things to blow up and see different enemy types, that doesn't seem to be getting old in my couple of hours that I've played thus far. And yeah, it's just the action and that kind of pacing of it is all really fun. I do want to just say, then, this is all great. The cherry on top that I did not know was in this game is that once you complete a mission, it goes, cool. Do you want to play as the bug now? And there are bug missions where essentially you get to run around these same open worlds as
the exact same
maps as an assassin bug, which is this giant high-powered bug with like 3 transformative modes. You can just be a ground trooper. You can spread your wings and fly over the whole map.
That's awesome.
And you can turn into a tank and just eviscerate enemies and terrorize bases with flamethrowers as you go and unlock pods of enemies and swarm bases. It's pure power fantasy, purely unnecessary. Totally a really fun little feature that the developers have put in there that you can completely disregard as you power through the campaign. But as a nice little bonus, I thought this was a really fun thing to have. And again, almost like lets you blow off steam while you've been blowing off steam in the main game.
Yeah.
Is there a sense of narrative in the game? Like, obviously there's the FMV stuff and you're bouncing between. Is there like, do you fight to the end of the war from the film?
I'm not sure if you get to the end of the war from the film. This might even this takes place after the films because Johnny Rico's old and with an eye patch.
Of course, but you're reliving memories. So
correct.
So as you're playing
It's
through
training.
that,
Yeah.
I guess the war's still going.
It's her war. It's always going. It'll continually go on. That's the problem.
That's the problem with war.
Look, the story is light on terms of like drama. It is all melodrama, and it's all her reliving the idea that this assassin bug killed her friend, and she's going on a revenge mission through being lumped into all these classic locations from the movie, etc. But yeah, I think just don't let this one fly under your radar because it is it's a little, I think it's like sort of $20 on Steam. It is really polished and it has a lot of other mechanics there as well, that power-ups, airstrikes, mech units, other fun stuff in there, and it's a really nice tune-out game. Like I haven't really clicked with the other boomer shooters as someone who thought that was my scene. This has just a little bit more complexity in it that I really appreciated, and I love that property. I love Starship Troopers. So, did I want to know more? No. Did I want to play more?
Yes.
Certainly did.
That's beautiful.
It's not beautiful. It's war, Ruby.
I think it's beautiful that you enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to come up next with a little game I played called Mr. Sleepy Man.
All right.
Again, by Devin Tassi, solid developer. It is an incredibly weird 3D platformer where you play as Mr. Sleepy Man, a very sleepy little man that finds himself awoken in bedtime town and must do everything in his power to burden, annoy, or completely ruin the life of all the citizens in town, akin to Untitled Goose Game.
Okay.
So the platforming in this game is very reminiscent of Super Mario Sunshine in its like preciseness and fluidity, but replace FLUDD with a safety blinky. It's called that in game, akin to Link's glider in Breath of the Wild, and that's your movement system in Mr. Sleepy Man. Okay. I will say it can take some getting used to, with the jump button also doubling as the ground pound when you are gliding. Feels like really weird mapping, but once you get used to it, the platforming very much scratches the if I just get it right itch that platformers of old are very much known for. The game is partially voice acted, and that can be very funny. Like the big-headed character that you see called Tiffy, he has a very silly, goofy voice that to open the game gives you this is silly, this is a funny game vibe.
Did you not know that from buying this game?
Yeah, if you can't tell from looking at it, this game's silly.
Yeah,
And the tone of the game, at first glance is obviously very silly, but the characters are super weird. I really like it. It's very much my kind of humor. But as it goes on, there's suddenly shifts in tone through the music and the gameplay that are very unexpected, but flip your expectations of the game way on its head. And the dev behind it, Devin Tassi, he didn't just make the game, but also did the music, in a Toby Fox kind of way.
Yeah.
Except a good bit of that music has vocals in it that range from like Magdalena Bay like dream pop to like pop punk stylings of the 2000s and 2010s. One of the songs even has like a full interactive music video that you get thrown into mid-game, and it goes so hard. The music is
eclectic, I guess.
Incredibly eclectic. It's like showcasing his game dev ability. It's showcasing his clearly very good music ability, showcasing his humor, but there are also aspects of it that showcase his, I guess, personality and like personal feelings about life, the universe, and everything through his work. And it's that moment, that music video, and that tonal shift that shifts the game's inspo from like Super Mario Sunshine like platformer to Majora's Mask for pranksters.
Okay.
In the way that your mischief in Bedtime Town is seemingly on a timer and is crucial to saving the town itself.
Okay, cool.
Interesting.
It's
and like there's a little story with each individual town member. And so
for example, you've got Papa Bear, who is he looks a lot like an Animal Crossing character, except he's really stressed out. He's got his wife, Mama Bear,
of course,
and his son, Chunky Bear. And Chunky Bear's gone missing.
Right.
And Papa Bear was supposed to be looking after him, so he's freaking out. And you get given the task of helping him. You also get given the task of ruining his life because he reveals that he's got a second family.
Oh, wow. Papa Bear, you're naughty.
I was going to ask, like, when you said this is a funny game, this is a wacky game, like, how much is that in... Because I was thinking elements of... thank goodness you're here, kind of silliness. But like, you reckon there's a bit more twisted, a bit more dark, definitely a
it's kind of all over the place. I think it leans into a lot of different kinds of humor. It does a little bit of Rick and Morty interdimensional cable, in the sense that there are TVs all around Bedtime Town that have fake ads and shows on them that are very silly, very funny.
But also that comedy, which is just whackball comedy. It's like everything's open for trying to come up with silly, naughty, rude.
There's
quirky,
also like
cute.
Dry humor out of nowhere and like random humor. There's one part
kicking off more and more these days.
You bash open a door and there's a character called Little Jerry, who's literally a little Jerry Seinfeld who just turns around and goes, "What's the deal?"
This is very you.
Like
it's a very you game.
Yeah,
we are truly living in the ADHD game dev generation.
I was trying to avoid saying that.
It's a big time for Ruby games, but this game rocks. The platforming is really in depth. There's a lot of different ways to move around, and it looks and plays and sounds and feels whimsical and fantastic.
I have one final question. When you mentioned that Majora's Mask, the other characters you're helping or hindering, etc., that kind of stuff, is there a puzzle nature to that, or is it mainly like there's a straightforward solution and you know what you're doing and they're asking you to do it, or is it a little bit like...
Nothing in this game is straightforward.
No, totally, but I mean the time aspect, is there a little bit of like observe and plan what you need to do, or is it sort of like collect a key for someone, or like...
It like the former. Like it's very much like you're expected to relive that night over and over to
That's my final question was, do you sleep and
you're
reset?
Watching learning routines.
Got it. So there's a Groundhog Day, you kind of go to bed, try it all again the next
for
day.
example, there's an old lady who you have to crash her car into the ocean.
No, I get it, but I'm asking, is there a reset time mechanic?
Yes.
Yeah, she said yes.
I literally said that.
So many times.
Did you?
Yeah.
Am I reset?
He's like, wait.
Have you taken your ADHD medication yet?
I apologize. Sorry, I missed that entirely.
You're asking the same question.
Okay.
Looks super cute. I can't wait to see it with DLSS 5.
Make him look like this. But his eyes will still be closed because he's sleepy.
No, they'll open them up.
Yeah.
They'll be wide open and like glam. We got to go. We got to go. The game I'm talking about this week is We Got to Go by FuzzyBot. It is a friend slop PC game.
Yep.
It's coming out in April, but there is a demo available now, a free demo. And Gus and I jumped in and we played the demo on stream the other day. Thank you to those of you who joined us as well. Join the Pocketeer Gold Patron, and you can play with us too.
You can fart on us if you'd like.
You can fart on us just generally, but you can fart on us by paying as well. So We Got to Go is an upcoming cooperative action game. You and up to 3 friends navigate your way through a procedurally generated labyrinth in order to find the key and escape. The twist in this one is that you need to do that while avoiding soiling yourself.
Very well put.
The driving motivator for your crew is that you all desperately need to go to the toilet. And as you explore the mansion to find the key to the bathroom, you're finding the key to the bathroom so you can poop and escape.
Got it.
Mechanically, what might typically in these kinds of games be a stamina bar is instead, or like a fright meter. A lot of these are horror themed. Instead, it is presented as a colon and a lower intestine.
Really good.
Filling with gas and feces. If your bar fills with fart, you can't move so quickly. So you need to continually be releasing farts as you navigate the house. That gas is building up as you move, so you inevitably need to fart pretty consistently. If your bar fills up with poo, you shit yourself. Plain and simple.
Well, yeah.
You have soiled pants from that point.
You've got soiled pants, and then if you shit again, you're out.
Correct.
Yeah.
You die.
You die.
So the house that you're navigating through is full of monsters, so that's what makes it more challenging. You can't just be releasing gas and going about your merry day. You're combating monsters that you need to fight with weapons or a kick. You get a kick for free, and you can carry up to 3 items as you navigate through the house. Some of those items are offensive. Some of them are to reduce your need to go to the toilet.
Offensive as a jar full of farts. That is offensive.
That is offensive. Now, taking hits from monsters is what adds poo to your colon and your intestine.
Yeah.
So you've got to avoid taking damage effectively, so that you keep your stamina bar full for moving quickly through the house and building up your fart meter. By fighting enemies and breaking items to loot the house becomes enraged. And so that's another mechanic that kind of forces the issue of you will get into combat, you will build up fart, you will build up poo. And so as you kind of kick down doors or break things to find items, the house becomes more enraged. And once it's fully enraged, it unleashes a large wave of enemies. You get locked into a space and you have to take on those enemies. It's about 30 seconds as that timer kind of ticks back down. So it's a survival endless wave mode, but for 30 seconds. And so that's an opportunity for you to take a lot of damage. And so you know that it's going to happen. So you're kind of planning around when you're going to trigger that combat, and you can kind of act accordingly and set it off when you're best equipped to do it.
Or not, and be stuck in the other room because it locks the one person in a room, and you can be stuck in opposite rooms.
You can be separated as you're playing cooperatively.
Oh my God.
So as you get to the end of the demo level, you come up with like a tile match game as the final puzzle to get the key to get out. It's fine. It totally works for the demo. It's not the most interesting puzzle element. There are games in this genre of friend slop, if that's what we're calling it, that are more interesting from a puzzle mechanics perspective. And even something like a marathon, which is a completely different game, but is like cooperative, entering a world with puzzles built into it. I would love to see something more interesting happening in the mansion to release the key to get you out. We got out every time we did a run.
Yeah.
And I would like it to be more complicated. But as far as the demo goes, it all is very illustrative of what they're trying to set out to do.
The generative level design, I think, from what we ran
it's
through,
procedural
it's tiles,
generation,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I imagine they would add a different, like you would do the run and be like, oh, we've got this puzzle at the end.
Yeah.
But I totally agree. Even if there's only 3, I'd probably get bored of them.
Yeah.
Totally.
quick.
And it should be more than just you get to that room and you do that puzzle. There should be things you need to collect from around the mansion and bring to that final room to make it more interesting and to stretch it out and to make it a more challenging thing. However, what I would say about this game is that it's clearly designed to be humorous and playful, as opposed to, it's set in a haunted mansion. All these games have to have a horror theme for some reason, but this one's really colorful and it's slapstick and it's about breaking wind. And so while it's never actually scary, and a lot of these games thrive on, like Phasmophobia is interesting because it's scary, and that tension is what slows down the gameplay and actually extends the value of the game.
Yeah.
You could just run through Phasmophobia if you weren't concerned about your well-being. This one doesn't have any scares, so it's mostly about being playful and funny.
It's got one scare.
It's got one scare, which is
Shit yourself.
shoot yourself.
That's true.
This could work in its favor, though, because so many of its competitors are like intentionally disturbing
and challenging. A lot of the other ones, repos and that kind of stuff, they're kind of hard. But
that's why they're interesting.
I agree. I 100% agree. And they go south really quickly. This one was surprisingly unchallenging. We played it as 2 and 4 players, and we really, I don't think at any point found ourselves. I think it was a little too forgiving, both in the mechanic of shitting yourself and getting a second do-over, and
access to the materials that you need
and the items and everything.
Recover,
it felt it was being a bit generous there. I hope they fine-tune that a little bit and do make a version that is harder to do.
I'm sure they will, because it's not out yet.
Totally.
That's what this is all about, is playtesting. But if they do nail the content and have some level of replayability and the interest in the puzzles, I think it could actually sustain more than a Repo and more than Dark Hours, all these kind of games that are kind of flash in the pan.
Yeah.
Because younger gamers can play it and because streamers can play it
Yeah.
for longer periods of time, I think it might actually hold.
They've put a lot of their eggs in the basket of silly shenanigans in the downtime between. That was where this game shined. If you watch the stream that we played, the amount of stuff you do back at the gas station, the faces, the animation, the little toys to play with in that space, they know that makes up a big part of these games.
If by toys you mean butt plugs, then yes.
Yeah.
I meant basketballs and stuff, but sure,
I will
butt
say,
plugs.
as silly as it is, I do appreciate them going for realism in their game, because if you do shit your pants twice in one pants,
You do die.
You do die.
Yeah.
You do die.
So I appreciate that.
Which
do die.
I've never
You do
done.
die.
You know, I've reached stage 1 a couple of times, but
Yeah.
never stage 2.
all been
And that's
there.
why you're still
And that's
living.
why I'm still here.
Yeah.
And thank goodness I am. So those are the games we played this week. It was a Starship Troopers, what's it called?
Ultimate Bug War.
Ultimate Bug War.
Press Y to snore.
In
Mr. Sleepy Man.
Mr. Sleepy Man. And I played We Gotta Go. But there are some games coming out over the next week, which we think you should know about as well. And the first one is Crimson Desert, which releases tomorrow. Medieval, magic, men, mechs. From the creators of the MMO that you never played, Black Desert, comes a single-player open-world action game set on the continent of Pywell. You play as Cliff, with a K, who loses his entire clan after an ambush by their rivals in the dead of night and is now on a mission to rebuild and reclaim what he's lost. But if you don't feel like doing that, you can ride a dragon. And because they knew Gus was interested in playing it, you can also fish. And you also look like Gus. There's something for everyone. You're excited about this.
I'm very excited about this, almost just as like a tech test. I just want to see if it works and see how it runs. But people have said it's promising in that sense, but it is getting kind of positive to mixed reviews since it's dropped. And yeah, we were hoping to get some to play by this week, but I will definitely have enough to talk about next week because I think people are sinking 50 hours into their review, 80 hours into their completion, 100 hours into there, I want to see almost everything. So this looks insurmountable as a game.
And it sounds like that's scratching the surface of all the things you can do. I think it's a little bit of it's too many toys in the play box is kind of some of where the negativities come from, but also some of where the real positivities come from because you can play this game in so many ways.
God, it cuts a good trailer because of that, doesn't it?
It sure does.
But I guess that comes from being in the world of MMO, right? Like Black Desert Online was huge.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually great. I did play it, despite what Adele made me say. I did play it and enjoyed it a lot, and I'm interested to see how all of that game feel translates to a single-player action game as opposed to the big open.
The last thing I'll say is there's so much you can do in that game, and a lot of the reviews and previews are saying the amount of complexity in the controls because you can't just have one button for everything. I mean, you can if you're a Nintendo game, but in this case, it's like there's combinations of buttons that people are like breaking their hands over to be like, how do you grapple, swing, elbow, grab, hurl someone? It's like, oh, that's a wrestling game combination. So interesting. Gonna find out if it's any good.
Very cool. And also coming mid next week is Screamer by Milestone SRL. That's March 26th. You'll be screaming for joy when this arcade racer pulls up next week. If you think that this is just a run-of-the-mill racer, think again. Screamer boasts an extensive story mode with over 30 minutes of beautifully animated cutscenes, which follow 5 teams joining an underground racing tournament, each with their own motivations to win. It's actually a reboot of the original Screamer games, which were released in 1995 on MS-DOS. That was over 30 years ago, if you want to feel old. But yeah, full animated anime-style cutscenes, massive voice cast for this one. And most importantly for me, I played a vertical slice of this last year. The game feel, the racing feel, twin stick racer, feels amazing. And I was kind of good at it somehow. I'm not really a racing guy, but I was in the S. I was getting S's.
The look of the animation as well, getting that perfect in between of 3D and anime is hard to make look really nice. It's gotten easier as time has gone on, but to me, that looks spectacular.
It does, but also, like, I think it's a perfect thing that'll complement a racing game because I love racing games, but I do tap out of them out of a kind of lack of engagement. Like, even when they try and force a story of a music festival into the game or something, I'm like, I don't care for this. Being able to just put controller down and watch a little bit of story, I feel like is the perfect palate cleanser between, like, hardcore action racing that feels like Burnout and whatever else, and then just like, now watch something and chill out. So I'm sad there's only 30, but I'm sure that took a lot of effort to make 30 minutes.
Totally.
But I'll watch the show with this by the looks of it.
What was the FMV Need for Speed game?
Oh, I think that was just a straight Need for Speed. No. Hot Pursuit was the most recent one in Miami. No, sorry. Hot Heat was the last one in Miami. Hot Pursuit was the
cop
one.
games. You play as a cop.
I think it was just a hardcore Need for Speed. Or
Yeah,
the Need for Speed or something. They went for the Fast and Furious no-name
Everyone
version.
was so cool in those cutscenes.
And everyone was in an abandoned diner wearing beanies with neon signs on.
Yo, we got a race.
Yo, you're pretty hot out there. Sorry.
But those games are coming next week and may feature on your favorite show, Back Pocket.
Tell us in the comments, are you pretty hot out there?
Those of you who live in Sydney, here's an exciting piece of news for you, because the Powerhouse Museum's Games and Playful curator... Oh, sorry. I'm reading a throw that I shouldn't be reading. Alt Game Festival is coming back. It's a Powerhouse Museum festival. It is curated by a friend of the show, Chloe Appleby.
She's very playful.
She's very playful.
She's very
Ruby
playful.
had a chance to talk to her earlier in the week, and here's what she had to say about it coming back.
Well, we're coming back in 2026. So Alt Games is a Powerhouse Museum initiative, and it brings together the Australian games community and industry. So we've got showcases from local and 2 New Zealand games, sessions, and talks with industry leaders. I am so excited for our speakers. We have none other than the iconic, the legendary Mr. Shuhei Yoshida. From former Sony. You might know him from some games like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Gran Turismo. We also have the incredible Alana Pierce, games writer for God of War Ragnarok, as well as you might know her voice from games like Dispatch and Cyberpunk 77. We thought it was running really successfully from last year, so we wanted to continue that format into this year, but really elevate the talks and the sessions as well. Alt is, because it's in a museum space, it does provide a level playing field for everybody as a cultural institution. So with Alt, it is able to be celebrated across a wide audiences, and for developers, they have access to a crowd they don't have access to from like other games events that are more games audience focused, whereas we have a broad museum audience that comes in and wants to experience what the museum is doing at a cultural level, so they can get feedback from them. But also for indie developers, these events are so critical to get their game out there, to get wish lists, to get their artwork, their being present in front of everybody. So these events, to make them accessible and available for everybody, is so important to get these games in front of everyone. You can get tickets to Alt via the Powerhouse Museum website. So the event is free, with some ticketed events at $10 to $20 depending on what you want to see.
Powerhouse website, get yourself some tickets. It's in April. We'll be there.
We went along last year. It was great.
Yeah.
That last game that you saw in the screenshot of the mini ducks on the keyboard, I played that one like crazy. It was having to press keys in certain combinations with it, but the developers were so delightful. And again, having them look over my shoulder and be like, "You're failing at this." And I was like, "Your game is hard, but really wonderful." It was great. It was great.
bad.
So,
And last year had games like My Arms Are Longer Now, Key Fairy. We saw Which Way Up there. There's so many games that have come out or are coming out now and have been beautifully made.
Be a person who says, "I played that first."
Exactly.
I played that at Alt Games.
Thanks to Chloe, that playful museum curator.
Gotta love
So
it.
playful.
Thank you, Chloe.
Thanks, Chloe. Thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll see some of you, particularly Sydney-siders, out at Alt Games Fest. But I'll tell you where we see all of you, and that's in the comments. You comment on all of our videos on Instagram, on TikTok, some on X for some reason. You should get off that platform. YouTube, great. Love it.
Yep.
You're on Twitch right now, writing comments. Love to see it. But we love to shout them out. We love to shout them out.
We read them even though we're not meant to.
Are we not meant to read the comments?
You're not meant to read the comments. That's the point.
Is that
Just
the point?
for your general sanity, don't read comments. We do. We don't care about our sanity. We will read everything and anything you guys write down there.
That's true. And we did read one this week. Sorry, Gus. We did read one. And this one comes in from Walkerman, from Pete's Ditto video on Instagram. And Walkerman says, wait, so Pete is a Ditto? And to that I say...
Is that your Ditto face?
there's a bit you missed it in the prep.
Oh my god.
Oh no!
For those of you
Really
just listening,
good.
I'm a
Really
ditto
good.
right now. This is great effects. Can we put some DLSS on this, please?
Please don't. That's good ditto.
That's beautiful.
Everyone
Oh
do
my
best
God.
ditto face. Just hang on, can we get it back?
It's just wide. Make your mouth as wide as possible.
And make your eyes as small as possible.
Yeah.
It's just so dopey. God, what
I'm
love
DLSS ditto.
I know
Yeah.
a lot of people
Yeah.
love Ditto, but I didn't really know much about the character, and it's wonderful that playing a game has made it my favorite character
Yep.
now. I absolutely adore
Ditto
that stupid
rocks.
face.
Ditto
so,
rocks.
Yeah, loving that game.
Well, yeah, we're all playing Pocopia
We
still.
really are.
I hope you're enjoying playing games. Let us know in the comments what you're playing. We might read it next week. Please.
We might make a weird graphic again based on what you say. So set us a challenge.
We didn't make that graphic. It's just from the internet.
Yeah, but we made it on the screen.
Oh, we put it up.
That was impressive.
We put it up.
We put it up.
That is it for this week. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you enjoyed the show, please hit the like button and good things will happen. 1 like equals 1 pat for Scardy. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content. You can find us at Back Pocket Vids on all of our socials. Consider joining our Discord to join the ranks of the Pocketeers. And speaking of the Pocketeers, we couldn't do this show without all of our generous patrons. So a big thank you to everyone who supports the show and what we do here. We couldn't do it without you. Until next week, that is our show. Thank you, team.
Ditto face.
You're welcome.
Let's back it out.